Are you a foreign educated physical therapist trying to find the best way to apply to the United States? So, in this video, I'm going to discuss the summary of the step by step process to United States application. Of course, it takes more than a video for you to fully understand it, but this is a great guide for you to have an idea how to proceed from where you are going forward. If you need a step by step and in detail, check out the USPT Turbocharge Masterclass online because there I explain fully each and every step of the way to guide you fully with your application so that you won't waste your time, your money, end up with a lot of debt or stress and delays. Okay, so check out that masterclass on the description section below. We had tons of students who actually attended the masterclass with great reviews. So don't waste your time searching, scouring all the internet, YouTube videos, just giving you so much confusion. Check out the USPT Turbo Charge Masterclass. Okay, so I'm going to discuss the step-by-step process. I made a video about this years ago, but this is the updated version given that there are some changes in the policies and requirements. So stay tuned. Step number one, okay, so you have to choose a state. Okay, this is my first step because we have 50 states in the United States, and each state has their own set of requirements. You have to remember it's not a universal requirements. They are different from each and every state. So you have to choose the state where you want to practice. A lot of people are asking me, what are the easiest states? It used to be New York. A lot of people apply to New York because they have the lowest requirements for foreign educated physical therapists. But October 25, 2024, they changed it and they are now requiring applicants to be a graduate of either doctor of physical therapy or transitional doctor of physical therapy degree. Okay, so New York is no longer the easiest states. If you're going to ask me as of right now, based on the videos that I made, the top three easiest states will be Florida, Texas, and Illinois. Okay, so I have individual videos for each of every state and how are you going to apply for this state even without social security number. I will put the link here for that, how to apply without social security number. So that's the first step because you have to understand if you're going to be able to supply all the requirements of the state. The state is the one who's gonna give you the eligibility letter or the go signal that you can take the NPTE. So that's why the first step is to determine what state where you want to practice. Okay. Step two is credentialing. So this is a complicated process. Okay. So credentialing follows the coursework tool number 6. That is the latest coursework tool. So basically, it's a checklist of the courses and the subjects and the trainings that the U.S. standard. Okay, that is the U.S. standard. Coursework tool number 6. So they will compare your courses, your trainings, your subjects to coursework tool number 6, and they will tell you whether you have deficiencies. If you're a graduate of a 4-year program, most likely you will have a lot of deficiencies. 5-year program, yes, there are deficiencies. So for you to know exactly what are the deficient subjects, okay, and how many units you are deficient with, you have to undergo the educational credential review. You can get this from FCCPT, IERF, ICA, ICD. So there are choices for you to do the educational credential review. Step 3 is completion of the deficient subjects. So after your initial credentialing or educational credential review, you would know what are the deficient subjects. And it's up to you to apply to schools or universities to get those deficient subjects. I have a playlist. I will put it on the description section below of the schools here in the US and where you can get those deficient subjects. And also in your local universities or school, you can also get those deficient subjects, especially if it is like the general education such as math, English, science, okay? So I will put the link down below for completion of deficient subject schools. Step 4 is to study and pass a test of English as foreign language. So if you're a foreign trained, foreign educated physical therapist, if you are not a US citizen and you're not a US immigrant, you would need a healthcare worker certificate. This is under type 1 review for immigration from FCCPT, or if you're going to get the healthcare worker certificate from CGFNS, it's called visa screen certificate. Okay, so one of the major requirements of this certificate is that you have to pass TOEFL. Okay, so the state where you're going to apply may or may not require you to take TOEFL. Again, you have to read the requirements and on their website for you to know whether they require you to get TOEFL before you can take the NPTE or not. But definitely for healthcare worker certificate, you would need TOEFL. Okay, so you have to study how to take TOEFL and how to pass the TOEFL. Okay? Okay, so step 5 is reevaluation. So after you completed all your deficient subjects, after you took the TOEFL, okay, and you passed the TOEFL, it's time for you to do the reevaluation. Unfortunately, you have to pay for it, okay? So it depends on what your preference are. You can take FCCPT Type 1 review for immigration to get both the credentialing and the healthcare worker certificate, or you can use any credentialing agency. Again, FCCPT, ICD, ICA, IERF for credentialing and get your visa screen certificate from CGFNS if the state allows that. Again, there are states, again, that's why it's important for you to read the requirements of the states. There are states that only prefer FCCPT. Okay, and for they specify sometimes FCCPT type 1 review for licensure. Okay, so that's why it's a complicated process. That's why it's important for you to read the requirements of the state because each state is different. Okay, so you have to understand what credentialing agency or agencies the state accept and whether you can use other agency aside from FCCPT or not. Okay, so for best guide for that, I'll put the link here and I'll put the link on the description section. I made a video about credentialing process. Okay. Okay, so step 6 is you have to apply to the state that you chose, okay? So some people will ask me, I'm done with FCCPT, can I take the NPTE? The answer is no, okay? FCCPT or credentialing is just one of the requirements. FCCPT will not give you the authority to take the NPTE. It is the authority of the state. That's why you have to apply to the state, okay, and give all the requirements to the state from your school, and from the authorizing agency in your country issuing you a PT license, if any, okay, so that you can complete all the requirements and the payment to the state, and only the state can give you the go signal if you can take the NPTE or not in the form of eligibility letter. Okay, so that's why it is important. Do not skip the state. Without the eligibility from the state, you cannot take the NPTE. Okay, so after the state gave you the eligibility letter, then you have to register on fsbpt.org for your examination for NPTE. So this is another payment for your NPTE exam, and then FSBPT will give you the authorization to test, or ATT. Okay, if and only if FSBPT receive also the eligibility letter from the state. If they did not receive the eligibility letter from the state, then they won't issue you the authorization to test. That is one major problem of foreign educated physical therapists. So you have to make sure that the state did not just send you the eligibility letter, but also to FSBPT. Okay, and FSBPT will give you authorization to test that will walk you through on how to register your exam online and through Prometric. Okay, so the Prometric is also another payment where you're going to pay them to use their facility to take the examination. So it's two separate payments, one for FSBPT and another for Prometric. But it will walk you through the process through that ATT, authorization to test letter. Okay, so step 8 is you have to have a tourist visa. You have to understand if you're going to take the NPTE, you cannot take it in your own country. You have to take the NPTE from the US mainland or US territories such as Guam. And you can also take NPTE from Canada. But either way, Canada or US, you have to have a tourist visa in order for you to take the NPTE. Okay, step 9 is study and pass for NPTE. So it's easily said than done. So you have to understand NPTE is very tricky. It's very analytical. It's not just a one-liner question. And there are videos and scenarios now on NPTE. And there are questions related to those videos and scenarios, okay? So for a complete update about the NPTE changes and the materials, I will put on the description section the videos that I made to help you prepare and pass the NPTE. Okay, finally, step 10 is employment. Okay, so you have to find an employer, of course. It's either direct hire or agency. I always recommend direct hire because agency is the middleman, the agent. So as you know, agents will have commission in the form of deduction from your paycheck, okay? Because they are the one who found you an employer and they will have commission for doing that. And it depends how many years you're going to sign the contract with your agency, okay? So you have to know what you're signing about, okay? And direct hire, as the name implies, there's no middleman. So aside from the taxes, state tax, federal tax, Social Security and whatnot, there is no other deduction from your paycheck because you were directly hired by the employer. There's no middleman. Okay, so when signing the contract, please do understand what you're signing up for. Don't be confused and don't sign up if you do not understand it, okay? All right, guys, there you have it. The 10 step-by-step process to United States application. Just like I said, it's just the summary, but it's a good guide. But if you want to be guided really well with the specific details of do's and don'ts and the tips for you to avoid unnecessary mistake that will cost you tons of money and confusion and stress and delays, you have to check out the USPT Turbocharge Masterclass. I'm serious because there are so many students who benefited from it. It's unlike YouTube, like this video and other videos, you don't know what video to watch first, second, third, and it became a confusion, chaos in your mind because you are not guided really well. So if you want the full guidance, the full details of this step-by-step process to US application, it's within the USPT Turbocharge. It's an online class. I discuss the details of each and every step and give you tips in order to be successful with your US application. I also have other master classes for physical therapy documentation, for evaluation, daily notes, etc., and how to be a rockstar physical therapist with your clinical practice, all on the description section below. So let me know which of these steps will be the hardest for you to complete. Which of these steps will be you needing a lot of help and explanation, or is like making you delayed with your US application? Put the comment section below. And again, please do like, share, and subscribe because we want to help more foreign educated physical therapists around the world to find their way here to the US because you are needed here badly. Okay, I wish you all the best with your US application. Until the next video, stay blessed.